So now that we have the more premium tablet from Amazon, the Fire Max 11, but how does it compare to the older Fire HD 10 Plus? Well, there may be a few things to make you lean towards one over the other. So let's go ahead and get started. As far as build quality goes, the Fire Max 11 definitely feels a little more premium with the metal material there on the back versus plastic. One advantage for the older HD 10 Plus though is it's going to be a little bit lighter in weight versus the Fire Max 11. As far as pricing goes, the Fire HD 10 Plus starts at around $180 versus $230 for the newer Fire Max 11. And keep in mind the Fire Max 11 starts out with 64 gigabytes versus only 32 gigabytes for the base model of the Fire HD 10 Plus. You can also go up to 128 gigabytes of storage for the Max 11 versus only 64 with the Fire HD 10 Plus, and that's with lock screen ads for both tablets. Luckily, they do give you the option to pay a little bit more for the version without those. Now the screen sizes are going to be somewhat similar between the two, 10.1 inch with 1920 by 1200 for the Fire HD 10 Plus versus an 11 inch 2000 by 1200 resolution for the Fire Max 11. The brightness and colors on the Fire Max 11 looks a little bit better, a little brighter, and has better viewing angles when compared to the Fire HD 10. You can also watch apps like Netflix and full HD playback resolution on both tablets. And then when it comes to the battery life, I ran the same test on both tablets. The Fire HD 10 Plus lasted 8.5 hours versus over 10 hours for the Fire Max 11. So plenty of juice to get you through a day of normal usage, probably a couple days of light use, especially if you turn the screen brightness down. But if you want the tablet with better battery life, you'll want to go with the Fire Max 11. When it comes to performance, kind of interesting here. Both tablets have 4 gigabytes of RAM. The HD 10 Plus has a MediaTek 8183 processor versus a MediaTek 8188 in the Fire Max 11. And just looking at the Geekbench scores, you'll see the Fire Max 11 is about double what the Fire HD 10 results are. But when looking at the compute scores, they're about the same. Personally, I don't feel like you'll notice a huge difference just moving around the software. But yes, the Fire Max 11 is going to be a little faster. You'll be able to do multitasking or playing games is going to be a little smoother and look better on the Fire Max 11. And it may just be small things like some apps or games might load a little quicker on the Fire Max 11. And yes, as far as gaming goes, it's going to be slightly better on the Fire Max 11. Games are going to look a little smoother. You might have slightly better graphics and frame rates depending on which games you're playing. One downside is you're not going to get to play all the games from the Google Play Store since you're limited to Amazon's App Store. Yes, there are ways to get around that, but not something that I would want to mess with. I've actually done that before in the past, and it's just not as good as having the Google Play Store on there right out of the box, especially when compared to a regular Android tablet. But as long as these have the games that you want to play, I feel like you can't really go wrong with either one. Software wise, these two tablets are going to be on slightly different Fire OS versions, but when you put them right next to each other, there's not really much of a difference. They're both based on older Android software, which you can tell just by looking at the notification shade on each one, which in my opinion should be updated by now. Left of the home screen, you have the For You section, and then your library to the right on both tablets, and then all of your installed apps are there in the center. Now, one advantage with the Fire HD 10 Plus, you have wireless charging with their dock, where you don't have wireless charging on the Fire Max 11, and then you can also get the keyboard and stylus bundle for the Fire Max 11, which to me looks a little better than what you can get with the Fire HD 10 Plus. One advantage you've got with the Fire Max 11 is you've got the fingerprint scanner right on the power button, where you don't get that with the Fire HD 10 Plus. I know you can get a stylus for the Fire Max 11, but you can also use an active stylus for both of these tablets. Nice thing is you can use any Bluetooth keyboards on both tablets, like the one shown here from Logitech. If you want to do some multitasking, you can also do split screen on here as well. Now you're only going to get 2 speakers on one side for both tablets. In person, it definitely appears that the speakers on the Fire Max 11 are a little bit better than the Fire HD 10, and they've got a little better bass as well. Here's a quick sample of each, just to give you an idea of what they sound like. Now, as you can imagine, cameras on these two tablets are not going to be the best out there. You get an 8 megapixel on the front, then 8 megapixel on the back for the Fire Max 11, which has been upgraded from the 2 megapixel and 5 megapixel on the Fire HD10 Plus. And one advantage for the Max 11, you can shoot up to 1080p resolution for video recording on the front and back versus only 720p on the Fire HD10. So if you need a tablet for a Zoom meeting, other video conference call, you'll definitely want to grab the Fire Max 11. The camera and video quality just looks a little bit better than the HD10, but here's a quick sample of each just to give you an idea of what to expect. So hopefully this video gave you a little closer look at these two tablets. Definitely some improvements for the Fire Max 11, but depending on what you need and what accessories you would like, the Fire HD10 Plus or even the regular Fire HD10 might be good enough for some people out there. I know I've got more tablet comparisons to do yet with the Fire Max 11 and other tablets that I've just got recently, so you'll want to look out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.